Hey guys! Today we're going to look at a story called The Schoolhouse Blizzard. Now, as we go through this, we are going to try to see if we can determine the central message of the story. This is also known as the theme. Now, this is important to figure out what is the author trying to tell us? What lesson do they want us as the reader to get out of this story? Sometimes they want to give you lessons about friendship. Sometimes they want to give you lessons about trying your hardest. Don't go into other people's house and eat their porridge and sleep in their beds. Three bears. But there's some ways to do this. We can always look at what the characters do, what they say, what they feel, what they think. Another thing we can do is look at what is the main problem of the story. Think about what are some of the solutions that they had. And then also, a lot of times, the lesson is going to be whatever the main character learned. Okay? Now, this is never going to be anything specific to the main character. For instance, you would never say, the theme is Harry Potter went to Hogwarts. If you're looking at Harry Potter, you would look at the theme is about friendship. Okay? So, let's go ahead and preview some of the vocabulary for this story. Okay? We have the words argue, which means to express a difference of opinion or to disagree. We have astonished. When people are astonished, they are surprised or amazed. Complained. When people complain, they make an accusation or a charge. Forbidding. Forbidding means prohibiting or ordering someone or something to not do something. Forecast is a statement that tells what or may happen, like a weather forecast. Relief is a freeing of discomfort or pain. Now, like if you got hurt and you put a Band-Aid on it, and you got that kind of just like, oh, it doesn't hurt anymore. That's relief. Or when some of you guys go up to the clinic for magic ice, that's relief that you're feeling. And the last word is stranded. So when people are stranded, they are left in a helpless situation or helpless position. Okay? Like being stuck on a deserted island. That would be stranded. Okay? So let's go ahead and read the story together. Okay? Now, I'm just going to read this out loud to you. You are more than welcome to follow along. In fact, I hope you do. So we've got the Schoolhouse Blizzard. Okay, and we're going to be looking again for the theme of this story. Okay, so look for what do the main characters learn. All right, Chapter 1, Without Warning. It's almost too warm for my coat, Lily said happily. Keep it on, Pa replied. There's no shelter on the wide open prairie, and the conditions can change at the drop of a hat. Lily sighed, grabbed her lunch pail, and headed out the door with her twin brother Harry. As she walked the mile to school, Lily wished she were back in New York City. People there didn't worry so much about the weather forecast. In Nebraska, you worried about tornadoes, storms, and worst of all, blizzards. Lily hated blizzards. She was frightened of the howling wind that threatened to tear apart their small wooden home. She hated the darkness, the cold, and being stuck inside for days on end. During blizzards, Pa and Ma tried to make the time pass pleasantly. They gathered the family around the stove to tell stories, popcorn, and sing songs. Pa often said, the key to surviving is to stay calm and make sensible decisions. Lily wondered if she would ever be able to stay calm without him there to protect her. Sorry about that. The twins attended a one-room schoolhouse. As the eldest boy, Harry collected coal from the shed and lit the stove every morning. Soon afterward, their teacher would arrive. Miss Adams was 19 years old. Her family lived near the school. "What a lovely day," she said that morning as she greeted the school's other students. The day started like any other. Some students wrote on their slates and studied their books, while others recited aloud what they had learned. Then, at about 11 o'clock, the wind blew up. After an hour, the room was getting very dark. Miss Adams rushed to the window. "Oh no! A blizzard!" she cried. "It's too dangerous for you to go home. I forbid you to leave. Stay here while I fetch food and blankets from my place." Miss Adams grabbed her coat and hurried away. Before she could return, however, the blizzard was upon them with a great roaring sound. Chapter 2. Fire and Ice. Lily ran to the window. Within seconds, the Adams house disappeared into whirling whiteness. She knew Miss Adams wouldn't be able to return while the blizzard raged. Lily fought back panic. I have a little update. "What would Pa do?" she asked Harry. He'd say, "Stay calm and make sensible decisions. Right now, we need to decide how to keep warm. There's only enough coal for this morning." Lily took a deep breath. "Everyone put on your coats and gloves while we think," she said. "We could burn the desks," Peter suggested. "They're too big for the stove," Harry said, "and we haven't got an axe. I'll just have to fetch more coal from the shed." Lily knew that that in a blizzard, a person couldn't see their hand in front of their face. "If you go out, you'll never find your way back," she said. "It's not sensible." Then she had an idea. She got out the jumping rope they used during recess. "This will stop you from getting lost," she told Harry. "Just follow the rope to find your way back." She tied one end to Harry's belt. Then, braving the bitter wind, she tied the other end to the stair rail. Harry grabbed the coal bucket and stumbled into the blizzard. The others waited inside, unable to see or hear him. It seemed like hours later, but was only minutes when Harry reappeared. He'd filled the bucket and all his pockets with coal. "I can't feel my feet," Harry complained. The word frostbite flashed into Lily's mind. She pulled Harry aside. Then she filled her lunch pail with snow and warmed it on the stove. Harry howled in pain as his feet thawed in the warm water, but their color soon returned. Harry didn't have frostbite, but Lily's relief was short-lived. As she lit the lamp, she noticed that there was very little oil left. If the blizzard lasted for days, they'd have no light. Stories and Letters, Chapter 3. Lily sat huddled by the stove. She was frightened and wished she were safely home with Ma and Pa. Then, looking up, she saw Alice watching her and fighting back tears. Lily realized she needed to be strong for the younger ones. "Let's gather together by the stove," she said. "We'll be warm as toast, and we can tell stories." That sounds like a good idea. Harry started telling the story of the 3 little pigs. Everyone enjoyed it until Peter called out, "The wind sounds like a howling wolf coming to eat us." Alice burst into tears, and Amy looked scared. "Oh, don't be silly. It's just an ordinary wind," Lily said, sounding surer than she felt. "Here, I'll tell you another story." Lily made up a fairy tale about a princess in a hot country far away. By the time she finished, the others seemed calmer. But then Amy complained that she was hungry. Lily suggested that they eat half their lunch now and save the rest. "What if we run out of food?" Peter asked. "Will we die?" "We are not going to die," Lily said. "We are going to grow old and have lots of grandchildren." Then an idea came to her. She took some paper from Miss Adams' desk. Everyone stared at her. Only the teacher was allowed to write on paper. "Today is special," Lily said. "It's the day we survived a blizzard all by ourselves. We'll write our future grandchildren, telling them what it was like stranded here alone. They practiced their letters on their slates. Then they carefully copied them onto paper. For the younger ones, it was exciting. For Lily and Harry, it was a good way to pass the time. It sounds like a really good idea, if you ask me. Here's what the letter said. Dearest grandchildren, it is 1888, and Harry and I are trapped in our schoolhouse by a blizzard. Our teacher did not make it back in time, so we have to cope on our own. It is scary, but I am determined we will make it. With love, Grandma Lily. Well, she wasn't a grandmother yet, but she's hoping one day she will be. Chapter 4, Snowed In. Writing the letters took most of the afternoon, but the rest of the evening stretched ahead. They could have studied, but they were too worried to concentrate. Instead, Harry made up more stories, not mentioning any wolves this time. Sorry, I added it this time. Then the others took turns making up their own stories. Finally, one by one, they fell asleep. Lily was awake the longest. She must have slept, however, because the next thing she knew, the room was silent and warm. How could the room be warm? Lily looked at the windows. They were covered with snow. Harry went to the door. I can't open it, Harry called. There's too much snow. The snow was keeping out the wind, which warmed the room, but it also kept them trapped. The children were snowed in. Just then, they heard a scraping noise. It got louder and louder. Then the door burst open, and Pa and Mr. Adams came in. Lily ran to her father. Here you are, safe and sound, Pa said. Miss Adams was worried, but I told her Lily and Harry would have done the right thing. Lily was astonished. Then she realized she had done the right thing. She had been able to keep calm and make sensible decisions after all. So you see, boys and girls, by her making these smart decisions, not only was she able to keep calm, Lily was able to keep the other kids calm as well and help them get through this without being too scared. So I hope you enjoyed the story. I'll see you next time.